Field engineer duties in construction, responsibilities and daily checklist. I'm excited about this video because I have done a day in the life of a field engineer, but in this one I'm going to do a day in the life of a field engineer for the different phases. So I'm just going to get right into it. When you're in pre-construction and you're in project planning before the job starts, let me just get this for the whole thing here. Let me say that, let's just assume this is like 6 a.m., this is noon, this is the end of the day. If I put an end of the day, everybody would kill me on YouTube, so I'm not gonna do that. But this is like the full day. If you're a field engineer in the planning phase, when you get into the office, you're gonna want to get some good quiet time. I'm just gonna label this as production. Okay, and if you are with a team, this is going to be your check-in time. Okay, you might have a couple of meetings throughout the day, so I'll write down meetings, and this is pertinent information. I want you to know, for the most part, you are going to do office work, so you're mostly doing lift drawings, and you're mostly doing primary control activities, meaning like you're detailing it out in Civil 3D or AutoCAD, and you could have this be office work, and I'll say / primary, secondary, working control establishment. By the way, this is a part of a 20 video series. In a previous video, I talked about the job startup activities, and so really most of this is job startup and getting it ready. So you're going to spend a lot of time in the office. Now, when you're in job startup, you're in the concrete phase, this gets a little bit different. And I think I'm going to bless you right now because I'm going to use my blue marker, and I'm going to also mention some of the things that you'll experience, especially during concrete. So first of all, it's probably not just 6. You're probably going to have shift work where you come in a little bit earlier. But a lot of what's going to happen here is that mainly you've got to have a time in the afternoon to plan the next day. So this is your planning time. If you're out doing concrete, chances are you're going to be doing the concrete placement support early morning if you're doing placement. So I'll write placement. If that is the case, then it would be later on in the day when you came in and you worked on lift drawings and when you did layout and control. Okay, but I want to contrast that to non-placement days. You are probably going to want to get in here a little bit earlier, okay, and work on, before you get bothered, lift drawings, and then go out and spend your time throughout the rest of the day doing layout. And by the way, that planning meeting does extend. And make sure that you get as much quiet time as you possibly can to study these drawings. In fact, some job sites, even though it was early, like pretty early, I was like, you might come in at 4 a.m., 4:30, 5 a.m., where it's super quiet and you can focus. And then go out when you get a little bit more tired and you're moving and your blood's moving. Then the reason I move these to like midday and later day is because when you're out in the field, yes, you're a bit tired, but you're keeping your brain awake through the blood circulation. So that's planning and concrete. And then when you're in the interiors, let's say that you're moving through that building, one of the things that you'll really want to do is obviously attend the morning worker huddle. So I will just write worker. And then you will want to help the superintendents with what's called zone control walks. That means wherever there's a handoff from zone to zone, you are going to go help the lead person or the assistant superintendent to make sure that we're clearing the way out ahead of the trade partners in their wagon or task, and that we're punching as we go. None of this punch list at the end of the job. In fact, I can just go ahead and say that right now. We do not want a massive punch list. I'm going to delete that from field engineers' tasks. Now, there is some amount of punch list, incomplete work list, if like something's missing, but basically if we have a contractor working in a zone about to finish, let's have them punch it out right there. So zone control, and then what you'll spend most of your time doing is in work prep and inspections. You're talking about in-wall, above ceiling inspections and solving problems with the trade partners. And then in the afternoon, obviously, you have your planning and prep for the next day. This is a little bit easier on the soul than concrete because you have a little bit more balance to your schedule. But the bottom line is, what we need to do is make sure that we're adjusting to each of these different phases. And let me make this board a little bit prettier. I always get self-conscious about the boards. Planning phase, just to summarize, which you're not supposed to do on YouTube, I'm sorry, is you're gonna spend most of your time in the office. In the concrete phase, you're going to work everything around your placements, and if you have free time, you're going to focus on the production of lift drawings in your quiet times. And then when you're in the interiors, you're going to spend much of your time in zone control and helping with inspections. This is a nice framework, and I think this video will do you well. In fact, we'll put this into a blog post so it's outlined. It will also become a part of our new book, Elevating Construction Field Engineers. I don't know of any other location where this is, but this also goes back to the point that field engineers are not just for self-perform, they're also for planning, and they're also for the rest of the building. And you can add, civil, site work, central utility plants, roof, exterior, it all applies here. These are the 3 frameworks. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.